Human trafficking, which is also known as trafficking in persons, is a crime that involves compelling or coercing a person to provide labor or services or to engage in commercial sexual acts. The United Nations defined human trafficking as a recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receive of people through force, fraud, or deception with the aim of exploiting them for profit. This evil practice exists in almost every industry, including domestic work, agriculture, mining, fishing, factory work, and commercial sex work. The victims of human traffic are most often not paid, and the few that get paid, their wages are always so low. They are essentially slaves. This brings us to the pertinent question: why does human trafficking exist, and what makes it flourish in these present times? A lot of fingers could be pointing to various directions for reasons and circumstances responsible for this menace, but most common among the cause that precede the situation of human trafficking can be attributed to poverty, experience of neglect, domestic violence, experience of marginalization, and discrimination. According to the World Bank report, the poverty level in Nigeria rose up to 46% in 2023, and this has pushed additional 24 million Nigerians below poverty line, bringing an estimated total of 87 million Nigerians in this poverty pool. Poverty comes with its own ripple effects, one of which is inability of the man of the house to provide the basic needs of his family, and when this happens, the fabric that holds the family together will begin to weaken. Consequently, the children will develop the feelings of being neglected and so get tempted to seek for a better life outside the home, thereby making themselves vulnerable to the enticement of human traffickers.
I was actually working in a crèche where I was paid 10,000 naira. So the money was not really enough for me to care for my family, especially my siblings. So the crèche, one day, one woman came and brought the baby and her elder sister that came from France. And she told me that she loved the way I'm caring for children, that if you take me abroad, it will be a good one, that I will be very paid and I will never lose suffer. As in, he told me a lot of things that money used to pay over there in France. So I was really happy to hear such opportunity and privilege, because I already know that here in Nigeria, no white collar job. I was really happy and I said, no problem, I took the opportunity. I was to pay 35,000 euro when I get there, and I swore and hold. I never had the dream of migrating there because of the situation around me and the way she sweet talked me. So I just decided, okay, and I agreed that I would go. So we were there for like 3 weeks. A lot of horrible things happened there. And when they were calling my burger, her tune not changed. The way she was not behaving not changed. I don't even know what happened between my burger and the person that was taking us. That was how the whole story started. Inside the desert, when our in-laws got wet, we were robbed, we were raped, all the girls were raped, we were beaten. And the painful part, that was where I lost Sunday. The guy we left together, we left him together, he died there. The desert is not a playful thing, it's the hottest place. It's a place that you will be scared. Even the noise that is coming there, you will be scared. So different things is happening in that desert. It's not a place that you even advise your worst enemy to go through because they want to travel abroad.
An analysis: domestic violence is another great storm ravaging many homes in the recent times, and analysts have cited economic hardship as one major factor contributing to the current wave of domestic violence. When the center can no longer hold in the family, things fall apart, and like the battle of two elephants, the children become the grass that suffers the effect. Lack of proper and quality education has been associated with the cause of human trafficking. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights lists education as a human right in Article 26, which states that everyone has a right to education. The declaration goes on to stipulate that education should be free and compulsory, at least in the elementary and fundamental stages, while technical and vocational professional education should be made generally available. Higher education should be equally accessible to all on the basis of merit. When people do not not have quality education. Its negativity impacts their lives and the lives of their families, which include their children. This is because it is much harder to escape poverty without education. Moreover, people with low education form the majority of victims of human trafficking because they are easily lured to many jobs opportunity. So, good education helps people get better work and avoid the condition that lead to exploitation. Another factor that encourages human trafficking is the demand for cheap labor. Consumers are always looking for cheaper products and services. This unfortunately drives organizations to look for cheaper and cheaper labor, thereby encouraging exploitation and trafficking. Industries like agriculture, fishing, mining, and domestic work are especially ripe for exploitation. It may not be out of place to point out that commercial sex is also in very high demand, and this encourages traffickers to target the supply of more women and girls. According to a 2020 United Nations Office on Drug and Crime data, women and girls make up 65% trafficking victims. 90% of them are trafficked for commercial sex.
She said, I see other girls the way they do, so that is the same business I want to do. I told her, but this is not the type of business you told me. So she was shouting at me, like beating me up. So I don't have any other choice than to do it. That is it. It's as a result of me telling her I will not do it. So she injured me in the process.
So they forced you?
Yes. Those men, some take me to the house, some inside the car. The men, they were paying me. If I go to them in their house, they pay me €100. So if I do it with them inside the car, some 50, some 30, some 40, some 20. I was not happy giving her. So it was not easy.
My madam is in Italy. If I did not pay my madam, the juju will kill me. Except I pay her the money. So when I pay her, I'm free. If I did not pay her, the juju started following me everywhere I go. So the thing will cause madness. It cause madness. It's real.
Children are also especially vulnerable to exploitation like forced labor, forced marriage, armed conflict, and commercial sex, as they are easier to manipulate and abuse. Globally, 1 out of every 3 victims are children. Many legal frameworks forbid human trafficking such as child sexual exploitation, forced marriage, and forced prostitution. However, not all legal frameworks center on human rights. Certain aspects of trafficking may be addressed as immigration, crime, or public order issues are not posed to human rights issues. When human rights are not focused on, it can be trickier to determine who is responsible for responding to and preventing human trafficking. This has rendered anti-trafficking effort ineffective, and even when the victims are identified, they can be re-traumatized when their rights are not protected. Obvious as it is that trafficking is a clear violation of human rights, if anti-trafficking activities do not use a right approach and attempt to end trafficking, it can cause more harm. Prevalent as human trafficking may have become, one sure fact is that no one wants to be trafficked and exploited, but lack of legitimate economic opportunities can drive people into dangerous situations. They become more likely to take a risk when they have no better options. Stabilizing economies and improving economic development give people more legitimate economic opportunities, and so they would not be driven into risky situations as a result of pressure and desperation. Lack of safe migration opportunities has been considered as one of the factors that aid human trafficking. Refugees and migrants are among the most targeted groups of trafficking. When they lack options for safe legal migration, people may turn to alternative means of migration, which often lands them in the net of traffickers. Some smugglers might demand more payment than agreed upon. Sexually exploiting the people they are smuggling or sell them. This means that not only are people at risk when they lack safe migration option, they are still vulnerable to trafficking. Human traffickers use a variety of tactics to manipulate and intimidate vulnerable people, of which deception is key. According to the UN Office of Drug and Crimes and Trafficking Network, pretend to be legitimate recruitment agencies. They target migrants who want to work abroad, lying about fees, document transport, and more. These agencies also often lie about the nature of the job, especially to women. Promise domestic work like child care or housekeeping. Women and girls can end up forced into commercial sex work. In addition to deception, traffickers rely on intimidation tactics like physical assault, sexual abuse, harassment, and psychological abuse to keep victims trapped. Most of the victims have their passport and other documents seized so as to retain them in captivity. The physical and mental health effects of human trafficking on the victims are quite enormous as well as serious. The victim of human trafficking suffer loss of basic human right, loss of one's childhood, destruction of families, and severe mental health consequences, including anxiety disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and substance abuse. Studies show that women who have been trafficked for sex have higher level of fear and more isolated and have greater trauma and mental health needs than older victims of crime. Trafficked women and girls also encounter high rates of physical and sexual violence, memory loss, sexually transmitted diseases, and traumatic brain injuries. Depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder rates are also high among sex and labor trafficking survivors, with higher rates reported by female survivors. A 2022 study points to the potential for sex trafficking victims to experience Stockholm syndrome or an emotional attachment to the abuser. Such kind of attachment can be seen in the case of some of the girls abducted by the Boko Haram, who have grown used to their captors and do no longer want to be separated from them. Substance use, abuse, and addiction are also common behavioral health outcomes among survival of human trafficking. Human trafficking does not just affect the victim, it also has ripple effect on society. Communities bear the burden of increased crime rate, strained social services, and compromised public safety. Moreover, the economy can suffer as legitimate businesses face unfair competition from those exploiting trafficked individuals who are forced to work in illegal, exploitative conditions for little or no pay. Human trafficking attracts a lot of negative impression and stigmatization on the society that have high rate of victims. Over the year, our country, Nigeria, and Edo State in particular, have made poor reputation as a result of the high number of their citizens involved in human trafficking, both as syndicates and victims. This does not augur well for the international image of our society.
I lived in Benin with my family. I'm from a polygamous home, so we went and took the oath. Agreed that when I come here, I'm gonna make money through a salon shop, which I thought there's a salon store here, just like it is in Nigeria. When I got to Sicily, and I called my mom. I told my mom, "Mommy, I'm not going to go to the woman's place that I heard when you come here, you start prostituting instead of working, and there's no shop for me." But what happened was, the madam that brought me here started threatening my mom. And she told me they called today, they threatened her that they're going to kill her to get me back. I need to pay the money that I used in coming, 30,000 euro. November 10, I got some message that my mom died that night. So it was obvious that it was because of me they killed her. I was so scared. There's no family, there's no friends, just me alone. The husband came and started beating me. I have to go to work that same day. I had no choice. What killed my mom, I don't want it to kill me too. That night, I started working in Alexandria.
for near we get to where I stay for this living house I stay for Saba. Get the house the back of the house now get now big upstairs now connection the one they also there.
There's so many guests.
They jubilee. And the guests will get a come. Now every year after a year she get even there. And that connection she come for the work. Talking about if you get to Gachon, you get to Saba, that is where they used to sell people. There are slave trade is there. They do slave trade there. So different trawler, there's smugglers come there to buy black. They sold her at the same way they sold me in that same place. That she was taken to a connection house. Here she was told to do prostitution.
From where, please?
From Olu.
Olu where?
I'm from Igbo.
Imo State.
Imo State, yes.
Olu
Yes.
town from Imo State.
Yes.
How long have you been in Ghana?
Just listen to 1 month now.
What is your name?
My name is Asus Divine.
Divine.
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 16 years.
16 years. My God. How long have you been in Ghana?
27th of this month will make me 2 months.
2 months. You are from Imo State.
Yes.
What is your name?
My name is Odrupe. I'm from Imo State. That goes south.
Sorry.
And that goes south.
Sorry. You will be fine in Jesus' name. God will take care of you, my children. What is your name, sister?
My name is Selina Danjuma from Plateau State.
Oh, my. How old are you?
I'm 18 years.
How long have you been in Ghana?
7th of this month will make me 2 months.
Oh.
My name is Odrupe Onyechukwu.
Speak now.
My name is Odrupe Onyechukwu.
Where are you from?
Imo State of Nepal.
Imo State. How old are you?
16 years.
16 years. Stand up, let me see.
My brother, this 1, 2, 3, they are the same mother, the same father.
3 of you are from the same mother.
The same father.
The same father. Have you spoken to your parents? Where are your phones?
This is our mom.
You're taking all your phones. Who brought you to Ghana?
His brother.
The brother.
The brother of this person. The brother of this person.
Okay. So you are from Imo State. 16 years.
The same mother, the same father.
43 October, 60 years.
Jesus Christ. So you are still 15 plus. And you have been in Ghana. And what have they been doing to you? They take you out to see men. You see men. And they pay you.
No, they don't pay me. Any money we work, they keep me, we give them everything.
15 years.
Combating human trafficking poses significant challenges for law enforcement and legal system. Traffickers often operate across international borders, making it a complex issue that requires international cooperation and coordinated efforts identifying and prosecuting perpetrators while ensuring the safety and protection of victims demand extensive resources, specialized training, and a robust legal framework. Human trafficking casts a very dark and gloomy shadow over our society, leaving a trail of physical, mental, emotional, social, and economic devastation in its wake. Its profound impact on individuals, communities, and the nation highlights the urgent need for collective action. Society can work towards eradicating this heinous crime and create a safe, more equitable world for all through collaboration, education, and a steadfast commitment to upholding human rights. The National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons stipulated ways of combating human trafficking in Nigeria, and these ways are enhanced prosecution and conviction of high-profile traffickers and violence against persons, sustain evidence-based rehabilitation, reintegration and empowerment programs for survivors, enhance awareness creation and sensitization, increase visibility of the agencies and its partners. Human trafficking is not only an injustice to the victim, but it is an injustice unto the families and friends of that victim and humanity. Culture is no excuse for trafficking in person. Let us join hands to stop human trafficking in our society. It takes the collective efforts of all and sundry to wage war on this heinous crime against humanity. We all must condemn this practice and ramification, exposing every slightest move by anyone high or low to entice or lure the vulnerable into the pitfall of human trafficking. trafficking. The traffickers are not ghosts nor aliens from the outer space. They are people like you and I. So let us all stand against that criminal trade that smears our reputation before the international community. The religious leaders are not left out in this battle. The same goes to the community leaders and other opinion leaders. The press should not relent in their duties of serving as a watchdog and continue in this mandate to eradicate human trafficking in our society. The youths are the future hope of this nation. We should protect them from the predating intrigues of these syndicates of life on the wars of others. Wilson Omasho reporting.